What happens when a fiercely independent neutral nation decides to spend $4 billion overnight to buy a foreign fleet of warships? On May 19, 2026, Sweden sent shockwaves through the naval defense community by completely bypassing British and Spanish rivals to order 4 next-generation digital frigates from France. Stockholm was forced into this corner because the worsening security environment in the Baltic Sea left them with zero room for error and an urgent need for advanced anti-submarine defenses. But how did France manage to secure this massive contract while simultaneously launching their second brand new vessel named Amiral Luzo in Lorient? The answer lies in a radical construction technology that is tearing up the traditional naval shipbuilding rulebook. To understand why this is a massive win for Paris, we have to look back to the mid-2010s when the French Navy faced a dangerous capability gap. Their fleet was heavily divided between multi-billion-dollar heavy destroyers and aging light frigates that were completely defenseless against modern underwater threats. France desperately needed a mid-sized platform, but they could not afford more heavy ships. This critical pressure birthed the Defense and Intervention Frigate Program, or FDI, a project designed from day one to be an aggressive domestic workhorse and a highly competitive export product. Now, with Greece and Sweden locked in as major customers, France has successfully turned a domestic crisis into a multi-billion-dollar export empire. Before we go on, did you expect Sweden to choose a French warship design over its traditional partners? Smash that subscribe button to join our global defense community and tell me where you're watching from. To truly understand why the defense world is stunned by this platform, we have to look at how France completely reimagined ship engineering. For decades, traditional naval shipyards in the United States and Great Britain have suffered massive delays because they build warships from the bottom up. Workers have to wait until the steel hull is completely finished before they can begin running thousands of kilometers of complex wiring and installing fragile radar systems. Naval Group smashed this bottleneck by inventing the Panoramic Sensors and Intelligence Module, or SIM. This radical technology is a massive independent steel tower built on dry land entirely separate from the hull. Engineers can install the advanced Thales Seafire radar panels and the entire combat management system inside this tower while the main ship is still just a shell. They can completely test the software and fix bugs in a comfortable hangar months before the vessel ever touches the water. Once the hull is floated out, a giant crane simply lifts the finished tower and drops it onto the deck, saving at least 5 months of production time. But the innovation does not stop with the hardware. This vessel is designed like a smartphone on the ocean, using a revolutionary digital architecture. Instead of linking old computers to specific weapons, Naval Group built secure data centers on board that virtualize all processing systems. The hardware and software are completely separated, meaning that updating the radar or adding a new missile system in the next 30 years will not require cutting open the deck. Engineers will simply upload a software patch. Combined with a striking inverted bow that cuts through 9-meter waves at 20 knots while reducing the radar cross-section, France has created a masterpiece of digital warfare that can be built faster than anything else in the West. Yet despite this brilliant digital framework and rapid construction process, the original design of the vessel possessed a critical vulnerability that real-world combat quickly exposed. When Western warships deployed to the Red Sea to protect global trade, they encountered an unprecedented swarm of low-cost suicide drones and supersonic anti-ship missiles. The intense naval battles proved that a ship can have the most advanced radar in the world, but it is completely useless if it runs out of ammunition in a few hours. Initially, the French Ministry of Armed Forces tried to save money by equipping their domestic variant with only 16 vertical launch cells. They argued that these vessels would always operate alongside heavier air defense destroyers. However, after witnessing the saturation tactics used in recent conflicts, Paris realized that 16 missiles was a dangerous mistake. In a sudden strategic reversal, the French Defense Procurement Agency announced a massive configuration change. All future vessels will now be equipped with 32 vertical launch cells, doubling their immediate firepower. This upgrade allows the ship to carry a heavy mix of Aster-30 long-range air defense missiles capable of intercepting supersonic threats. This heavy configuration perfectly matches the vessels that Greece ordered for their own fleet, which always demanded 32 missiles to counter regional rivals. At the heart of this defensive shield is the fixed-panel Thales Seafire radar, which provides continuous 360-degree coverage and can track 800 targets simultaneously up to 300 kilometers away. By correcting this critical flaw and doubling the missile payload, France has transformed a cost-saving project into an absolute powerhouse capable of surviving high-intensity warfare against the most advanced threats on Earth. With this newly upgraded firepower and an unstoppable assembly line, France is completely rewriting the rules of naval diplomacy. By standardizing this digital warship across multiple Allied fleets, Paris is weaving a powerful network of integrated naval defense that spans from Northern Europe to the Mediterranean. The massive $4 billion agreement with Sweden, combined with the heavily armed Greek fleet, means that NATO will soon operate a synchronized wall of fixed-panel Seafire radars and Aster-30 missiles. In the Baltic Sea, these advanced platforms will act as a total shield for Sweden, effectively boxing in regional threats with their superior captors for anti-submarine sonar systems. But the true strategic masterstroke for Paris goes far beyond European waters. By rapidly deploying these compact 4,500-ton frigates to secure their home ports, the French Navy can finally free up its larger multi-mission destroyers and nuclear-powered aircraft carriers. This shift allows France to project heavy combat power much further away, directly expanding its influence and freedom of navigation operations inside the vital Indo Pacific region. However, this brilliant digital evolution carries a hidden vulnerability that few tech analysts dare to mention. By transforming a warship into a virtualized data center running on a network, France has essentially built a floating smartphone. This leaves the fleet dangerously dependent on high-tech gallium nitride semiconductor supply chains from Asia and heavily exposed to the invisible threats of cyber warfare. If an enemy hacker bypasses the firewalls, an entire fleet could theoretically be paralyzed without a single shot being fired. The true lesson of this naval revolution is that modern victory belongs to whoever can innovate and build the fastest, but absolute digitalization might just be the ultimate double-edged sword. Do you believe that a fully digital software-driven warship is truly ready to survive the brutal reality of a high-intensity conflict? Let us know your thoughts in the comments below.